Hello and welcome to Scarlet Serpent readings. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Timeless Pick a Card reading, where we will be receiving a message from your spirit team regarding your greatest strength. So what is your greatest strength according to your spirit team? And I want to thank you all for your support. All the comments and everything, it really means so much to me. But enough of that. We have 3 piles. Pile 1 is going to be this card. Pile 2 is going to be this card. And then pile 3. And this is going to be a mini reading for sure. But those are the 3 pile options. I'm going to go ahead and leave a still image for you to choose from. Take your time, pause the video now if you need to, but otherwise I'll see you at your reading. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading. And I'm going to leave this card to the side for now. We'll get back to it a little later. But what is your greatest strength, according to your spirit team? And I do say, according to them, this is just really a different perspective on your strength. Let's do one more. And then I'll get clarifiers. So, wow. The bottom of the deck is the Magician. Yes, that is Doctor Strange. Yes, I impulsively got a Marvel deck. I don't know what happened. I don't remember. But anyway, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And some of the choices for the characters, and I guess the deck in general, just don't make a lot of sense to me as someone who knows Marvel and the tarot. It kind of feels like whoever put the characters just kind of put them onto something. So I don't really see how Gambit in any way represents the Wheel of Fortune, although I didn't see the X-Men 97, but anyway, I'll get back to that later. With the world, with Captain Marvel, that doesn't make sense. But we're going to connect them anyway. Don't worry about it. We have the 4 of Coins, 4 of Pentacles, and Temperance. So a lot of very powerful energy, and I think this comes effortlessly. Your greatest strength is in not needing to exert yourself more than you need to. There's like a wisdom in your connection to the universe, to the world, but also in kind of, how do you say this? It's like if manifestation was really the movement of a muscle as opposed to overexertion. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's becoming clear with the 6 of Swords, that there's meditation, insight, and energy for manifestation as opposed to exerting a lot of extra effort. I mean, even Gambit, putting the Wheel of Fortune to the side for now, but Gambit's powers is just, it has to do with touch, and that is in itself creating a charge. There isn't a lot of, although his abilities involve energy, it isn't exerting too much from him. And with the world, that same sense of power. And I think it's just interesting that we have both, specifically Doctor Strange and Miss Marvel. They're extremely powerful characters, and I'm not, I think these are more aligned to the movies, but I'm talking about classic Marvel comics where essentially Doctor Strange can do anything, and he's way too powerful. That's kind of why they had to bring down that power level. But I don't know, there's also a sense of perspective. You have a greater understanding of the universe as a whole and all of its parts, and there's this sense of patience, whether or not you realize that you're patient. I think you are patient with people, with circumstances, but it's like it goes a little further beyond manifestation, though. It's not just, oh, you can manifest, that's the reading. It's more of how you make things happen is effortless, but it's very efficient. With the 4 of Pentacles here, there's this stability that you find within yourself that people are drawn to. And again, with temperance being here, this is generally seen as a balancing card. I think of Sagittarius for some reason. I don't know if that's the case, but where with temperance being there and with the fire sign of Sagittarius and Shang-Chi, there's a time for, again, this exertion of strength, of physical capability, and then and that's true of most martial arts. I think there's well, at least non-American not MMA that you can count in America. They're kind of like whatever but generally speaking, it's not about necessarily just attacking and punching. It's a spiritual exercise, spiritual movement with chi, and that sort of understanding of your own energy. I think that reflects itself on the external world, on your experience in the world, and that at any point in time you feel not necessarily control of the environment, the things that are around you, but an acceptance that at some very deep level this is for you, that this is something that you have manifested for yourself. Let's go ahead and do another row of tarot. But if I put the world, I would use Galactus for sure. Without it, he eats planets. Like, why wouldn't that? I don't see how Ms. Marvel is the world. And then we have Death. Is this Jean Grey? Okay, I mean, I'm thinking of the Phoenix rising, getting stronger through transformation with the Wheel of Fortune. So I do think you've changed a lot. And I think with the Wheel of Fortune and the world being close to each other, there's that polarity, again, with temperance, with balance, with an understanding of the extremes within yourself. And I don't mean, balance and things like that, but it's very polarizing. It's extreme. I want to say that again. But you've understood and mastered those depths of yourself, so that you can have access to, I'm imagining like a bar, like a health bar or something, like a mana gauge, and there's red and green, or red and blue, right? And there's red here and blue is over there. But everyone has, like, their bar is different. So, like, the more you allow yourself to really dive into the extreme of red or blue, the more vibrant that color becomes. But when that bar itself is smaller, it's like you don't have access to the whole color spectrum. So it's more of like diluted. So even though you can remain center, and I think the center of everybody's bar, regardless of the size, has the potential to be the same, but your understanding of the two extremes is very different from other people. And that's because you've allowed yourself to get into those points without falling victim to being, let's say, complete rage or sadness, where you've experienced the intensity of it, but you can come out of it understanding not only what it's like, but the state of mind that you're in when you're in that place, and how you can interact with people who are in a similar situation. Then we have the Three of Wands underneath the Four of Coins. I think this confidence, look at Spyro, this confidence gives you a sense of freedom, knowing that what is coming to you, while it might not be exactly what you dreamed of, with the world being here, I'm just getting a sense of that. And I'm thinking of a different character, actually. Not Miss Marvel, but Nova. And what's interesting about Nova is that, and I would put him, by the way, as a star card, but what happens is he gets his powers after his entire planet is destroyed by the annihilation wave. I know, stop. It has a point. And he's literally the last person of his kind, of his race, and he is given immense power, which is similar to like the Green Lanterns, except if all the Green Lanterns were one. It's kind of like Nova, but it there's a responsibility that was brought to him with all of this power. It's almost like, although he's extremely strong, there's a level of caution and fragility in knowing that he is the very last of his species. And I think, in a way, all this to say is like, while there is an incredible amount of strength and manifestation abilities here, I also think that at a deep level you understand the fragility of life in a couple of ways. The first is that your existence here is limited, and even if it's not that great, maybe in retrospect, when you're floating around in the cosmos elsewhere, there might be a point where you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But the second thing is the people who come into your life aren't meant to stay. I feel like they're not meant to stay for that long, but they are all main characters. And I think that's what the death and Wheel of Fortune being next to each other represent, for me anyway, is the coming and going of life, death being even more so in comics, a cycle. It's like if a character dies, and well, let's just wait till the next run of X-Men, Astonishing X-Men, or All New X-Men, or whatever, House of Powers of X, like different runs will resurrect and kill off characters for the story. It's and if the spirit guides and the spirit team have that sort of distance from the human experience, they would say something similar, is that you see it while there's compassion towards the other characters. Like at the end of the day, there's like a story being told, and in this case, in this perspective, the story is about your growth, but also about how you can use your growth and your spiritual gifts to help others along their story. And it's just, all these stories are like webs, and they have their own purpose, but there's almost like this distance and understanding. And with the 6 of Cups, why is this dog? I'm going to continue with the reading. Who made this deck? What is this? But 6 of Cups, like, is this Cosmo? Ooh. I'm gonna have to make a Marvel deck. It's distracting how... Anyway. Could be a best friend. I think, like, your connection with animals is a part of your strength. It grounds you back to reality, which might be sometimes disappointing, like this deck. But the disappointment of humans who try to manipulate, and everyone thinks they're stronger, or not necessarily stronger, but smarter and more witty, and there's this constant comparison. I think you're well beyond it, but in a way, like, it's not that you participate in it, but you play along. You're good at playing the game and understanding and not feeling above anybody else. So I think, in short, it's humility, very humble, and that humility is a reflection of your strength, of your power. There's again, with this pile, with so many major arcanas, it's very powerful energy. That's it's effortless. Shang-Chi would be the only one who actually trains with the abilities to that extent, but Miss Marvel, even Gambit, arguably the Phoenix, they don't need to train that much. It does help, but I think the training's been done already for you. And then we have Goddess Gaia, Ocean Jasper, Goodwill with 45. This reminds me of this connection to Earth. We did see the World card, so that's part of your strength and part of your understanding, I think, also a part of your viewpoint, why you have such a unique perspective on your place on the planet, and understanding at a collective level. So it's like some more far out, especially when you talk about outer space and like distances between planets. It's very hard to imagine, to actually wrap your head around such large or small measurements. But I think without visualizing in that way, or knowing the mathematical equations, like, you understand. You don't have to fully know in order to understand where all of these pieces fall. And I do think with the world and the 10 of coins is by spreading this knowledge, by not only spreading the knowledge, but just being you. The more you are, the more abundance comes in, not only for yourself, but in the joy that you give to others. So I'm going to end the reading there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was longer than it was supposed to be, but that's okay. Anyway, leave a comment, like if you'd like, and then I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, Pile 2. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading on your greatest gifts according to your spirit team. We're going to leave this to the side and get back to it later, but let's just jump right in. What is your greatest gift according to your spirit team? I'm using, I need to say this right now because I didn't get too distracted in the last reading, but this is a Marvel deck. But I think the person who drew the images or selected, the characters, they just don't make sense in the Marvel universe or in tarot. So I'm reading it sort of like an oracle deck sometimes, and I just need to let you know, and I will rant about it because I don't know, I feel like I have much better ideas for what a good Marvel tarot deck would look like. So that's the disclaimer, putting that out there now so I don't waste your time. We have the King of Cups with Vision. You see what I'm talking about? How is Vision the King of Cups? Please leave a comment if you could tell me why Vision is the King of Cups. A robot. Anyway, so yeah, King of Cups. We have the Queen of Cups with Squirrel Girl. Then the 10 of Swords and King of Coins. Already, what's interesting is a mastery of earthly matters, of specifically emotional intelligence. Like you know what it is to understand. You know what it is to understand, like the implications of emotions, like what role they play within your life. And what thoughts are attached to them, how people act under different emotional circumstances. But what's interesting, I guess, is with the Vision being the representation, is that there's in a way mirroring Pile 1, but there's a detachment to those emotions. It's as if someone, I'm specifically thinking Aquarius, if Aquarius was to not experience the emotions, like not be a fish, but look at fish and understand how fish work. There's a distance to it, but at the same time, I think your relationships with people bring, I don't know, there's something about the analysis of others, the way people think. This is an analyzing pile, straight up. And while we have the Ace of Sacred Circles, which is the Ace of Coins, I think part of your greatest strength is being able to direct and lead people to bigger things, bigger projects. And when a movie, a TV series, a video game has a lot of cool concepts, but it lacks direction or like a cohesive plot, then it's pretty obvious, I'll give you an example, is Marvel right now with Phase 4 and 5 with their multiverse saga. It just doesn't mean anything. It's amounting to nothing, and it's ultimately a disappointing experience. But that to say that without a leader with a full vision, and not only that, but the ability to see the talent of these individuals, as silly or unorthodox as they may be, they all have a place. And I don't know if you see yourself as someone who has difficulty following orders, doing what you're told. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That I think is an indication of that you're meant to lead. But that also doesn't mean that these people who are more willing to follow direction, that they have a place as well, and it's not like they're, and you don't see them as less than or anything like that, but I think that there's a level of clarity with, it's like, oh, you'd be great, and not necessarily, oh, you'd be great at this career, or you'd be good at this. It's more geared toward a specific project. You have that ability to rally people together, and let's say in the kitchen, someone who enjoys cutting or prep work because it's a meditation. Someone who's a little less patient might be good with, I don't know. There's a bunch of different roles you can do with cooking, but that's just an example. I think you bring it into more real life, day to day, big picture stuff. And I think if you feel at some point, and this could also be with spirit, I will say that you have different spirit guides and you could put them to work with you, not for you, but, and that's the whole thing with this team too, is it's not like service, but collaboration. But we have underneath the King of Cups is the 9 of Swords, and we had 10 of Swords. Maybe as the robot, you felt that, as you felt different emotions, that you're becoming weak in some way. This feels more of an earlier mindset of like, oh, I can't believe I'm actually letting these feelings get to me. I'm sorry, but why is Loki the devil? Shouldn't that be Mephisto? Come on, you guys. Come on. Who made this deck? It just feels so obvious. Like, come on. Or Surtur would have been a better... But yeah, we have the 5 of Coins underneath the Queen of Cups. 3 of Wands in the exact same position as last reading, and then 2 of Cups. So yeah, straight away union. And I also think that while it might not be the case that you can't work on your own independently, that you need others to provide for you, that's not what it's saying. I could see why maybe as you see these cards together in the context of this reading, that might be the case. But I think that the potential to make more of an impact, more earnings financially, and more of a presence in this world would require that you be the leader that you're meant to be, that you step up, lead a project, make this dream a reality. And again, this could even be something like volunteering, but I don't know, it just feels strongly suggested that that's your superpower, getting people together, understanding different roles, kind of doing the HR as well, like the human resources, the understanding different feelings, perspectives, motivations of people, and bringing them together to form one giant project. That's your strength, without a doubt. I want to see if there's anything else, but no, because I did want this to be fairly straightforward reading. But I will get another oracle card just to close out and see another message about what your strength is. We have 2 cards here: spiritual connection, and then authentic voice. The spiritual connection I'm seeing with this, I'm also seeing that you could have a dragon spirit guide, like that, in purple. I also see that there's like a connection between your ability to connect with your spirit team and connecting with people, and again, kind of identifying different roles that they can play. But with authentic voice, I think this is a big one. Not only are you someone who's heard when you speak, but you bring people together through what's being said. I'm kind of surprised that Hierophant didn't show up in this reading, because I kind of get that energy from you as well. It's like you are the person who does the drumming during a shamanic journey, kind of like a guide to others while they're in this dream world. But yeah, I'm going to end the reading there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading on your greatest strengths according to your spirit team. we're going to leave this to the side and get back to it later. But we're going to go straight into your reading. And I have to give a disclaimer, because it's happened the last 2 piles. I'm using a Marvel tarot deck, and I have to say a lot of these just do not make any sense. It feels like whoever did the artwork, or not that the art is bad or anything like that, it's beautiful imagery, but whoever, I don't know, assigned these characters to these roles, it's very obvious that they just don't know the tarot. Or Marvel, like it's really bad. I just have to, and I will bring it up again, I have no doubt, but I'll probably mention characters that I think are better suited to that, or it's been a hybrid of also me just reading it more of an oracle, just because it's, come on Marvel, this is a representation of where they're at right now with their movies and content. It's really bad. But anyway, enough of that shade. Let's see, what's your greatest strength according to your spirit team? And I do mention that it's like, from your spirit team, it's giving a unique perspective as to your greatest strengths, because you'll have a lot of strengths. Okay. It's funny. I had mentioned Galactus in the last reading. I didn't know he was in this deck, and I kind of get it, so I'm not gonna, I guess, be too harsh. But this Knight of Coins doesn't make sense. But let's get to it. The Tower. And straight away, the Tower being here and the Princess of Wands with the pyramid here. There's something about pyramid energy, triangles. It could be something that your spirit guides speak to you with these shapes, specifically triangles and the directions that they go. And I also think that you have a chaotic, destructive energy in the best way. Breaking the mold, challenging the status quo. That is a very big strength of yours. We have the Knight of Coins with Ant-Man. I have another challenge. If you could tell me why this Ant-Man is the Knight of Coins, that'd be great. I'd love to hear it, because it doesn't make any sense. I guess using technology. And then we have the Three of Coins with this X-Men logo, which does make more sense to me. In a subtle nod to one of the other piles where there's a strength in collaboration and in leadership, with Mercury being there. It's interesting because you have a big energy, but it's packaged in a way where it feels approachable. Take that as you will. Well, I mean, it's like a storm, like a tornado, like lightning, but it feels less powerful, or it looks less powerful than it is. And some people might mistake you for that reason. It's mistaking your playful nature as someone who is naive, but that's not the case at all. You just acknowledge your inner child. You allow yourself to be free, and that's where you draw your inspiration and your wisdom, and part of your power comes from this child, this inner child energy. But at the same time, when it's necessary for you to step up and exert authority, I think that goes unchallenged. To an extent, it's not to say that you are a force of nature, but you can channel that force through your wand, if you will. That's what Galactus represents, the devourer of worlds. Really not a villain as much as an energetic construct. It's a force of nature, and there's really nothing that can be done about it other than to brace yourself. And that's what you represent in a way. It's like if you were to show up into someone's life, here we go, this Electra, Queen of Swords. I guess that makes more sense, but I'm being shady at this deck. I'm sorry, but it's fun. I've never done that before. But it's like if Galactus approaches, if you approach, I could almost imagine the spirit guides of the people that you're approaching. I'll be like, uh-oh. it's about to hit the fan. Something's gonna go down. Like, you're gonna change their world. And I think you have that. It's like you cause the ripples in the pool, and that's kind of your playful side too. But it's intense. You have an intensity to you, and that intensity again is almost sugar coated, and that's not a bad thing. It makes you easy, because people would run from you if they knew what you were bringing with you, which is ultimately a shift in perspective and shift in not contentment. Oh, I lost the word. It's there. Complacency. There we go. But we have the Queen of Swords underneath the tower. So is that almost that sharp mind, that sharp tongue potentially, where I don't know. I could imagine like a manager or something where people would find it easier to just I don't know, kiss up to a manager. You wouldn't. You're not that type of person. While you could still be respectful, I think you just have a lot of self-respect. And with the Hanged Man being here, Winter Soldier, I don't know why. But I guess this character being one that was left out of time for a little while, just kind of like Captain America, where there's a period of time where maybe you didn't feel that sense of power, that it was almost taken away from you, or at least your idea. I don't know, there was kind of like this dark night of the soul that I think this pile has gone through. And I think that's why this inner child energy is so powerful now, is it's signifies that you've gone through it, and you could still come out with a smile, that you could still be very lighthearted, despite the destruction that you've seen or that has happened around you in your life. And that to the eyes of your spirit team makes you extremely strong. You know, to keep the faith, to keep hope, really. So we have the King of Coins underneath the Page of Cups. And that's what I'm saying. There's it's pretty strong in this reading. There's an internal child, and I think these roles can switch depending on who you're interacting with, the circumstance. But there's a more serious, mature, I guess the armored energy here, very protective, formidable, and then someone who's playful but also extremely strong. Spider-Man's very strong, but witty and fun. And as this Princess of Wands, it almost requires that you be both, so that you could lead a group of people, a home, into being approachable, but at the same time respected. And that balance has been part of your journey, I think, and not necessarily for you in a way, like for the people around you. And so I think that as years have gone by, the perceptions of people towards you has changed, and with that, I think your perception of yourself has changed. With the Four of Coins being under the Three of Coins, we have Knight of Coins too. So there's a few Pentacles cards in here, and I don't know. It shows to me growth from this Knight into King. I think more disciplined approach to projects, to yes, manifestation, but more just practical budgeting and being an adult, while still entertaining your inner child, while still allowing yourself to have fun in a responsible way. Again, a very delicate balance, but one that it seems you've mastered. And your spirit team is not just proud. I'm imagining like you saying, or them hearing you say, it's like, I don't care who's proud of me. I don't need your pride in order to feel successful, but they still are. And that sometimes you might overlook that about you. So this is kind of like a reminder of how much you've grown and how much of an impact you have on the world. I can't make this stuff up. The card I got for you, your final oracle, by the way, is Archangel Metatron, Clear Quartz. Power. There's a hidden strength in your presence, in your words, in your focus. And it's become more apparent, not only to you, but the world around you. Yeah, I think that's a great place to leave this reading. Work with Clear Quartz if you haven't already, and consider connecting to any of these characters. But yeah, this is a great way to end it, so I'm not going to keep going. Yeah, 11/11, it's a good time. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I can't wait to see you in the next reading. Take care.